All right, folks, huge win last night for the Toronto Raptors. The 22-point comeback ties the largest comeback in franchise history. Eric, a terrific job. And I got to tell you, I did not see this coming. They gave up 34 points on 75% shooting from the field in the first quarter. And this was like, well, the road trip starting off on a low. This is going to be, they're going to lose to the Clippers, and they're going to be in trouble for the rest of the road trip. But an outstanding comeback, and boy, the bench was terrific tonight.
Yeah, the bench was absolutely terrific. Yeah. 35 points coming from the bench tonight. Marco Bellinelli, especially in the fourth quarter. Solid defensive effort from Antoine Wright as well, who seemed to be passing up shots tonight, Jonesy, in lieu of just making hustle plays, making the right pass, playing unselfish basketball. I thought they got solid minutes again from Amir Johnson. So the second unit was strong, and that's what they need to be. I know you and I chat a little bit. Jared Jack, I think, is still kind of feeling out his
finding himself.
His role and just finding himself with this team. I still want to see a little bit more from him, but the other guys, they played real well.
Well, Antoine Wright said post-game that he felt he had to get into the paint more. He had to make plays for other people. He turned down some shots and tried to get the ball inside and tried to drive it to the hoop. And I think that's good that he's kind of finding that role, and maybe I wouldn't say, not being too shot happy, but looking for better quality shots. Marco Bellinelli was outstanding. When they put that defensive threesome of Wright, Jack, and Amir Johnson on the floor, and then the combination of any two guys that can score. And you know what? We saw it, the first time we saw it was Bellinelli and Bargnani, the two Italians that play together on the national team. Marco commented about that, and Andrea too, the same thing. They're very comfortable. They know each other's game. That might be the go-to unit in terms of a hybrid or a bench unit that Jay Triano uses. It certainly helped get them back in the game. I didn't think that this was going to be as good a win as it turned out to be. That was a huge turnaround after being 22 down.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. When you talk about the 22-point comeback, they've done it twice before, both against Washington in 2005 and 1996, both games against Washington. So they tie that mark, as you mentioned earlier. But the final score, they win by 15. We're talking about a 37-point turnaround in the game. And when they were down 41-19...
From the middle of the second quarter.
Yeah, and then it was, 45-23, I think, at that point? 45-23, I think, was the 22-point deficit at its worst, in a sense. And we see Brian Colangelo leaving his seat in the stands, walking down the tunnel. He was fuming. He did not want to watch that thing. I mean, if I was at home, I got to be honest, I probably would have turned the channel or turned the dial off the radio as well. So the fact that fans out there, if you stuck in, you saw a pretty solid effort. Because after that ugly first quarter, we talk about the 37-point turnaround. They outscored the Clippers by 8 in the second, 9 in the third, 15 in the fourth.
Yeah.
But it's a disturbing trend, Jonesy. This is where we maybe take some of the love away.
Yeah.
It's a disturbing trend to think that you can play poor defense at the start of a ball game or in one of the four quarters, just have a terrible game or a terrible quarter, and then say, well, but we're going to fight hard later. We'll come back. It doesn't matter what kind of hole we dig. We'll dig ourselves out. We were down huge to Chicago and looking bad, and we held them to 28, 29 second half points. We were down huge to LA, and we held them to only 35 in the second half. We can do that. Well, no, you can't fall into that kind of trap and that kind of trend.
Well, Jose Calderon talked about it post-game in the locker room. By the way, he took 2 stitches to close that cut over his beside his left eye, and he was teasing that,
I didn't even know that. See, I'm learning now. I didn't even know that.
I had 2 stitches, and all of a sudden they gave me big Band-Aid. He said now he got a little one. But Jose said it. He said, we've got good teams left on the rest of this road trip, Phoenix, Denver, Utah. We can't afford to fall down the way we are. Antoine Wright said, look, maybe we just need to get kicked. I don't know what we need to do to hit the ground running, but guys on the bench, I've talked to them, and we know when we go in the game, we got to give them a lift. And you're right, it's dangerous, Eric. It's playing with fire. But so far, the last 2 games, Toronto hasn't been burnt. It's going to be different going into Phoenix, though, a team that got their butts handed to them here in that same building in LA against the Lakers. They're a high-scoring team. Toronto's had problems with them. Let's see what Sunday night
Well, it could be a track meet. 2 of the highest scoring offenses in the NBA going toe-to-toe. 2 of the, let's just say 2 of the not as strong defenses in the league. So it could be fun. It could be I might not get a word in edgewise on Sunday. It might just be Jonesy talking because it's going to be very little breakages in play for me to be able to jump in with any kind of analysis. Maybe I can bring this chair a bit with me and I feel like LeBron in that ESPN commercial sitting in my throne or something. Just bring this with me.
I wanted to
sit courtside in Phoenix.
I wanted to say, Eric, you see my chair? All right, folks. We'll see you then.